Consciousness is not simply your awareness of the world. It is the very cause of the world you experience. It is not something passive, reacting to events. It is the active creator of every condition, person, and circumstance that appears in your life. To understand this is to begin to take control of your destiny. Most people believe that reality exists independently of them, that life is happening to them. But this is a misperception born of forgetting. The truth is that what you see with your eyes, what you hear and touch and call real, is the outpicturing of your inner state of being. You are not separate from the world you live in. You are the projector and the world is the screen. If you look closely, you'll see that your life is nothing more than the unfolding of your inner assumptions. Every reaction, every relationship, every chance, event, these are all manifestations of your consciousness. The universe is not external to you. It is not something that operates independently, offering you trials or blessings based on arbitrary criteria. The universe reflects you like a mirror reflects your face. And just as you cannot change your reflection by scratching the mirror, you cannot change your world without first changing yourself. This is why the statement, consciousness is the only reality, is not philosophical. It is practical. It means that to change anything in your world, you must first change your consciousness of it. If you are conscious of lack, life will echo that. If you are conscious of abundance, life will confirm it. Whatever you are most aware of, whatever state you dwell in emotionally and mentally, will crystallize into the form you call reality. Your consciousness includes everything you habitually think, feel, assume, and imagine. These inner states are alive. They are not idle. They are creative. If you persist in thinking thoughts of fear, limitation, or unworthiness, your world will bear fruit in harmony with those thoughts. But if you discipline yourself to assume that you are already the person you wish to be, successful, healthy, loved, then reality must bend itself to fit that assumption. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen, for no external force is shaping your life. You are. It is not enough to simply know this intellectually. You must practice it until it becomes the foundation of your perception. Begin to notice your reactions, your inner speech, your beliefs about what is possible. Ask yourself, where am I placing my awareness? What am I consenting to as true within me? Because that is what life will show you. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the cause of the effect you call experience. The outer world is a delayed reflection of the inner world. You do not need to fix the mirror. You need only to fix your gaze within. Train your mind to dwell on the end you desire, not the means or the obstacles. Assume that what you want is already yours. Feel the joy of it. Let it soak into your being. For consciousness is not just power, it is the only power. Everything else is appearance, and appearances always follow the inner conviction. There is no need to fight, to strive, to struggle. Simply become aware of what you are being, and choose a new state. The moment you change your inner self-concept, the world must begin to change in kind. It is law. It is inevitable. The outer is forever yielding to the inner, and consciousness is the one and only reality from which all things flow. Life does not unfold by accident, nor is it governed by random chance or mysterious tests from some distant force. Instead, life faithfully reflects your inner beliefs, your assumptions, and your self-concept. Every situation you find yourself in, every person you encounter, every condition that seems to happen to you, these are not external events imposed upon you. They are projections of the states you consistently accept as true within yourself. In other words, life is not happening to you. Life is showing you what you believe to be true about yourself and the world. This understanding shifts the focus from external circumstances to internal awareness. Most people walk through life unaware that their inner dialogue, their persistent feelings, and even their idle assumptions are shaping their experience. They see events unfolding and wonder, why is this happening to me? But they rarely stop to ask, what must I have believed for this to appear? The truth is that your assumptions create the pattern from which your world is formed. Life is not testing you, it is revealing you. Let us say a person finds themselves constantly experiencing rejection in relationships. Rather than believing they are being tested by the universe or punished for some unknown karmic debt, the more accurate and transformative perspective is to ask, What am I assuming about myself that invites this reflection? Perhaps there is an inner assumption of unworthiness, a deep-seated belief that love must be earned, or a fear of vulnerability. These inner states, when accepted as true, go on to express themselves in the outer world through events and encounters that match their emotional tone. You can never encounter in your outer world something that is not first a reality in your inner world. The law is infallible. If you dwell in the state of lack, life will reflect lack. If you live in fear, life will appear threatening. But the reverse is also true. If you live in the assumption of wholeness, of worth, of abundance, then life must mirror that as well. The outer world is molded by the feelings you accept and sustain within yourself. This is not a call to blame yourself, but to empower yourself. You are not a victim of conditions. You are the source of them. And once you accept this truth, you begin to take back your creative power. You no longer see challenges as punishments or signs of failure, but as indicators of where your assumptions still contradict your desire. In this way, every unwanted situation becomes a tool for self-discovery. You begin to observe your reality not with judgment, but with curiosity. What part of me is being reflected here? The remarkable thing is that you do not need to fight with the outer world to change it. You only need to change your inner assumption. The world cannot help but reflect it. The shift is subtle but profound. You stop trying to manipulate people's outcomes or circumstances, and instead you revise yourself. You revise your concept of self. You step into the version of you who already is the thing you once sought. The person who sees themselves as loved, successful, and secure will naturally encounter circumstances that affirm that self-image. It is not magic, it is law. Just as a mirror does not choose what to reflect, the universe does not choose what to manifest. It simply reflects you. If you want to see a different world, you must assume a different state of being. The challenge, then, is not to force life into shape, but to persist in the assumption that the shape you desire is already real. Let your thoughts, your words, and your emotions be rooted in this new state. Live from it. Feel from it. And life, with its perfect precision, will reorganize itself around that new truth. It always has, it always will. There is a common belief that life is a series of trials, that we are placed here to be tested, measured, and judged by some external force. Many live with the idea that hardships are signs that they are being evaluated, that success must be earned through struggle, and that setbacks are punishments or lessons imposed from above. But this is a misunderstanding of the nature of reality. The truth is far more empowering. The universe is not testing you, it is reflecting you. There is no external examiner handing out difficulties to see how strong you are. Life is not a trial, but a mirror. And what you see in that mirror is not the judgment of a higher power, but the expression of your own internal state of being. When something goes wrong, it is natural to look outside and search for a cause, someone to blame, something to fix, or a spiritual lesson to learn. But the cause does not exist outside of you. Life does not operate as a random series of events, nor is it controlled by some distant force deciding your fate. Everything that unfolds in your experience is coming from within. You are not being tested. You are being shown. You are being shown who you believe yourself to be, and what you accept as true about life. That is what is appearing before you, again and again. This is why two people can face the same situation and have entirely different experiences. One may see it as an obstacle, the other as an opportunity. One may feel victimized, the other empowered. The difference is not in the event, it is in the consciousness of the individual. What you see, feel, and interpret is shaped by the state of consciousness you occupy. The state you are in determines how you perceive reality and how reality responds to you. Your life is not responding to effort or willpower. It is responding to the inner state you dwell in, often without realizing it. To say the universe is testing you is to place yourself in a passive role, as if something outside of you is deciding your worth. But when you understand that the universe is reflecting you, you reclaim your power. You realize that change does not begin by fighting circumstances, but by shifting the self that is experiencing them. Life is a mirror held up to your assumptions, beliefs, and emotions. And it is always faithful. It shows you what you are being, not what you are trying to be. There is no judgment in this. The universe is not moral or punitive. It is responsive. It simply reflects the truth you accept within yourself. If you accept fear, fear will be shown. If you accept love, love will appear. If you accept limitation, limitation will be expressed. It is not about what you say you want. It is about what you truly believe you are. This is the key. You are not being punished, and you are not on trial. You are being revealed. Once you understand this, you can stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what does this reveal about what I believe? The answer will always come from within. And when it does, you are no longer powerless. You are free. You can change your inner state, and by doing so, you change the reflection. You revise the assumption. You inhabit a new identity. And life must follow suit. There is no external test, only internal feedback. Your world is not a test of faith, it is the result of faith. Your experience is not an exam, it is an echo. If you want a new world, occupy a new self. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Believe in your new state more than in the evidence of the old. And soon, the mirror will show a different face. Not because the universe has decided to reward you, but because you have decided to become something new. Imagination is not a childish fantasy or mere mental play. It is the very foundation of reality. Everything that has ever been created, achieved, or experienced began first in the imagination. Long before anything appeared in the outer world, it existed as an image in the mind and as a feeling in the heart. The chair you sit on, the clothes you wear, the buildings in your city, all of them were imagined before they became physical. This is the great secret hidden in plain sight. Imagination creates reality. The world you experience is the outpicturing of the images and emotions you habitually entertain within yourself. Most people believe they are bound by external circumstances. They believe life is shaped by effort, by action, or by chance. They wait for conditions to improve before they allow themselves to feel differently. But the truth is the exact opposite. Conditions improve because you feel differently. The outer world does not precede the inner world. It follows it. What you imagine with conviction, what you accept emotionally as true, becomes your experience. If you imagine success, feel it, and accept it as already real within you, then life will begin to organize itself around that assumption. You will meet the right people, encounter the right opportunities, and feel guided without even knowing how or why. This is not because of luck or coincidence. It is because you have changed your inner world, and reality must reflect it. The imagination is not weak. It is not passive. It is the most powerful creative force you possess, and you are using it every moment, whether you are aware of it or not. When people imagine the worst, dwell on fears, or replay negative memories, they are using their imagination against themselves. They are imagining states of being they do not want, yet accepting them emotionally as true. And because imagination creates reality, these inner scenes eventually solidify in their world as undesirable experiences. But when you learn to direct your imagination consciously, to feel and see yourself as you wish to be, you reclaim your creative authority. Imagination works with feeling. A dry thought has little power. But when you imagine with feeling, when you occupy the emotional state of your desire already fulfilled, you imprint that image into your subconscious. And once impressed, it must be expressed. The outer world is simply the shadow cast by the inner image. This is why you are told to live from the end. Do not wait for the outer to confirm the inner. Imagine it already so. Walk in the state of fulfillment. Feel it real, and the rest will take care of itself. This creative process does not require force or strain. You are not trying to make something happen. You are entering a state of consciousness where it is already true. You are shifting your identity, moving from lack to fulfillment, from desire to realization. And as you persist in this state, the outer must conform. It may do so gradually or suddenly, but it must do so, because imagination is causative. The challenge, then, is not in making the outer change, but in remaining faithful to the inner vision. Doubt, fear, and impatience often tempt you to revert to your old state. But your task is to hold the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when appearances contradict it. For those appearances are not fixed. They are echoes of old assumptions. And just as they were once shaped by past imaginings, they will be reshaped by your new ones. Your imagination is your workshop of creation. It is not separate from reality. It is reality in its first and most essential form. What you accept in imagination, with faith and feeling, becomes the experience of your world. So use this gift wisely. Imagine nobly, imagine lovingly, and most of all, imagine persistently. For imagination, when consciously directed, is the doorway to everything you seek. Your self-concept is the foundation of your entire reality. It is the sum total of how you see yourself, what you believe you deserve, and what you accept as possible for you. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every reaction you have is filtered through this internal identity. Most people are unaware of the self-concept they carry. It operates silently beneath the surface, influencing every experience without question. But when you become conscious of it and begin to change it, you unlock the true power to reshape your life from within. You are not experiencing life as it is. You are experiencing life as you are. If you see yourself as someone who is always overlooked, your experiences will mirror that perception. If you see yourself as someone who is lucky and supported, the world will seem to conspire in your favor. This is not about arrogance or empty affirmations. It is about deeply held beliefs that define the boundaries of your life. You cannot consistently experience what is outside of the image you hold of yourself. You may occasionally break through it, but if the self-concept remains unchanged, you will always return to the familiar. This is why change must begin at the level of identity. External actions and surface-level thinking are temporary if the internal self remains the same. A person who sees themselves as poor may temporarily receive money, but unless they shift their inner identity to one of abundance, they will sabotage or lose it. A person who sees themselves as unlovable may enter a relationship, but if they continue to hold on to that old image, the relationship will eventually reflect that belief. Reality always finds a way to reflect who you believe you are. The good news is that your self-concept is not fixed. It is not a sentence. It is a choice. At any moment, you can begin to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself. This begins with awareness. Observe how you speak about yourself, how you think about your capabilities, how you emotionally respond to challenges. These responses are clues to the self-image you have accepted. Once identified, you can begin to dissolve the old and install the new, not by force, but by repetition and emotional acceptance. Assume the feeling of already being the person you wish to be. This is not pretending. It is aligning yourself with a deeper truth, the truth that you are not limited by your past or current conditions. Your outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. You change your world by changing how you see yourself in it. Begin to feel what it would be like to live from the state of your ideal self. Speak as that version of you. Think as that version. React as that version. The more real you make it internally, the faster it begins to express itself externally. Consistency is key. The old self may try to pull you back with familiar thoughts and emotional habits. But each time you return to the new self-image, you are planting seeds. And these seeds, when watered by feeling and repetition, will grow into new experiences. Life will begin to reflect back a different version of reality. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You are always creating from your self-concept. Whether consciously or unconsciously, your reality is shaped by the identity you carry. If you want something new, be someone new. Not through effort or performance, but by assuming a new inner state. Your self-concept is not a reflection of what has been. It is the mold from which your future is cast. Change the mold, and the results must follow. The universe, ever faithful, reflects not what you want, but who you are. And who you are is always within your power to decide. You do not need to struggle, chase, or beg for your desires to come true. Creation is already finished. Everything you could ever want or imagine already exists in potential, waiting for you to align with it. This truth removes the sense of effort and replaces it with a deeper understanding. You are not here to make something happen. You are here to select what already is ease. Life is not a matter of forcing outcomes, but of shifting your inner attention to the version of reality where your desire is already fulfilled. Imagine your life as a vast field of infinite possibilities. Every version of you, healthy, wealthy, loved, confident, already exists in this field. These are not distant futures you must earn. They are present realities, vibrating at specific frequencies of consciousness. When you match that frequency by embodying the state of being that aligns with your desire, you naturally move into the version of reality where it already exists. You are not creating the outcome, you are selecting it, just as a radio does not create music, but simply tunes into what is already being broadcast. This is why your inner state matters more than your outer action. Actions flow from your state of being. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you dwell in the consciousness of already having, you align yourself with the outcome and allow it to express itself through your life. It may come through channels you do not expect. It may arise in a sequence you could not plan. But it must come, because you are now dwelling in the reality where it already exists. To say creation is finished is to understand that time, as we normally experience it, is an illusion. The future is not ahead of you. It exists now, in the present, as a potential that you can access by shifting your focus. What you call the future is simply a reflection of the state you occupy now. If you change your state, you change your future. The only work you ever need to do is inner work, selecting the state of consciousness that matches your desired experience and remaining faithful to it, regardless of what your senses show. The mistake most people make is believing they must earn or prove their worthiness to receive what they desire. But worthiness is not something you acquire. It is something you are. You were born worthy. Your desires are not tests, they are invitations to awaken to a greater version of yourself. If you desire something, it is because a version of you already has it. Your task is not to figure out how to get there, but to become the one who already is there. This is the power of assumption. Assume it is already done. Assume it is already yours. Dwell in that inner reality with gratitude and certainty. You are not lying to yourself. You are acknowledging a deeper truth than the evidence of the senses. The senses reflect the past. Assumption creates the future. And when you persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, life begins to reorganize itself to match that new inner reality. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to struggle. You simply need to choose. Choose the state. Choose the version of you that already has what you desire. Let go of needing, wanting, or hoping, and enter into the state of having. Feel it real. Walk in that state. Think from that state. And trust that life must mirror it, because creation is finished. The path to fulfillment is not outside of you. It is within you, waiting to be accepted and embodied now.